Hi, this is Joe again with another review. Every time I start a video, hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing the third season of the, well now it's on Netflix, show Cobra Kai. So of course, Ralph Macchio, Billy Zabka, and of course, Martin Cove, Miss Kreese. Of course, I'm also going to get into some details. Of course, the show is the third season dropped a while ago, but it's only first now. I first seen the entire season, and before the review the entire season stuff, maybe that's a sneak previews. It's on YouTube. I have previously reviewed the first two seasons when the first two seasons were on YouTube exclusively. And one day they decided, I think for like a week or two, they had like a free preview of the Cobra Kai series. And now, I think from season 3 on, they are having it on Netflix. Because because of the expense, YouTube can't afford it, so they sold the rights to Netflix. And it's only because they downloaded an app where you can actually watch the Cobra Kai series, the 3 seasons that's in the books. So now I finally could watch the whole season 3. Anyway, season 3 picks up right where season 2 left off, which makes it good for me and for anybody else who's a fan of this series. And it is after what happened at the big it was a riot more than a fight between the Cobra Kai students and Miyagi-Do students, and they had a huge fight like the first day of school, which was started by Tori, who said they're coming at, and the last episode of season 2 said they're coming for you, bitch, referring to Samantha LaRusso, turned into a fight, and they saw pretty much a whole riot between the Cobra Kai students and the Miyagi-Do students, and to the point where Robbie, who was Johnny's son, kicks Miguel over the railing, and he was severely injured. And of course, everybody is upset that Miguel got hurt. So when he was paralyzed for a while, he was pretty much in traction, and no one really knew if he was going to be walking again. And Miguel's mother, who was starting to have a relationship with Johnny, broke it off because she was so upset what happened to her son, and rightly so. And so Johnny gets upset, goes back to boozing it up, and Kreese took over the Cobra Kai, or the newest version of the Cobra Kai dojo that Johnny started. He completely took it over, made his backroom deal with the landlords. Now he's the boss now he's the owner of the Cobra Kai dojo, or the new version of it. He said, "Hey, I don't want to start a Cobra Kai. I should be the one who runs this place, not you." So you have that crap going on. And now, of course, you have with Samantha, she was suspended for 2 weeks, which, of course, her parents, of course, Daniel and his wife, were very upset over the fact that their daughter got suspended for 2 weeks, while the other girl was the one who challenged her to a fight, and she just defended herself, and Samantha just defended herself. And they believe that because it's more Samantha than Tori's fault that started the riot, because she had the nerve to fight. Oh, she's not allowed to fight, defend herself. Hey, the other girl challenged her out to a fight. What are you going to do? Just stand there and get her ass kicked? I mean, come on. That's what I hate about schools. When I was a kid, it's the same crap. I mean, I was one to get blamed for instigating everything, and meanwhile the other kid gets a pat on the head and a lollipop. Even though Tori did get kicked out of the school. I mean, that did happen. So now she's going for a GED, which is good. She's the one who got punished instead of Samantha. So, but regardless, all that shit was going down, and of course Miguel fought back and got back on his feet, and because of the fight at the school, the area, the Old Valley Tournament was canceled by the city council because they feel that because of all this karate fighting that's going on in the town, they feel that if they cancel it, they would tone down all the violence and all the fights that's going on in the school and stuff. And meanwhile, Samantha and Robbie, who has since got out of prison because he served time for his part in putting Miguel in the hospital, and they were the ones who fought to get the Old Valley tournament back on. And said, hey, because at least, and they said, because the Old Valley tournament at least has a controlled environment, and to get aggression out there. If we don't have the Old Valley tournament, more of these incidents are going to happen in our community because there's nowhere for us to go, and they thought about it, and because we don't want to take our aggression out in the schools, which we don't want that. We want at least in the Old Valley, at least we get everything out of our systems in more of a controlled environment, and keep it out of the schools. And they all went like that. I said okay, and they brought it back to continue. Meanwhile, you had, because of the fight, this is all over the course of the whole season. So if I skip it around a little bit, you can see why, because that's doing a review of the whole season and not individual episodes. I know there's one guy who does it that I know of, a reviewer who reviews the episodes one by one, and I'm not doing that. Just doing no review of the whole series, or the whole season, I should say. So when that stuff is going on, the other subplot is that with Daniel has having problems with his business because people believe that Daniel was the real bully, not Cobra Kai, not John Kreese, not Johnny Lawrence. So they're taking it out on him and not buying cars from him or leasing cars from his car dealership. So what happened is he's trying to get maybe a deal with a Japanese car company, maybe have some type of agreement that he would sell cars for a Japanese, be a dealership for a Japanese car company. And there's one big one they lost the contract to his competitor because of the fight that happened in the school. So what Daniel decides to do is he decides to go to Japan to talk to the head of these Japanese car companies. And meanwhile, he was striking out after every company they was interested in doing a deal with. So he decides to, since he's over there in that part of the world, he decides to go back over to Okinawa. And that was kind of hyped, that after the fight in the school, that Daniel was so upset they would go back to Okinawa and deal, and maybe go back to Mr. Miyagi's house that he had in Okinawa, his family house, and his family dojo and stuff. And and remember what happened when he visited there with Miyagi back 34 years earlier, or 35 years earlier now, with in the second Karate Kid movie. This came out in 35 years, 1986, believe it or not. And so when he goes there, he realizes that the little Tomi village that Mr. Miyagi grew up in is no longer there. Now it's a big shopping mall on Okinawa. And I don't know if that's the actual location or not, or they actually did film in Okinawa. Well, at least in the first movie, they actually filmed there. Or not the first movie, the second movie, they actually filmed in Okinawa. But I don't know if they actually filmed in Okinawa while filming this show. It'd be interesting if they did. I think I heard somewhere that they actually did film in Okinawa for two episodes, 2 or 3 episodes of this series, at least for this season. And while he's there, he's visiting. I said, what happened to Tomi Village? I said, well, now it's a shopping, and they go, now it's a shopping mall. And, they modernized it. So while he's there, he saw his old girlfriend, Yuki Kumiko, who was Yuki's niece, from the second movie. That's the girl the love interest from the second Karate Kid film, and it is the same actress, which I kind of like. Is that they brought back a lot of the actors and actresses from the movie series in the Cobra Kai television series, which fans from the original 3 movies And the third movie is not too good. But at least they brought back the actors. Yeah. But the problem was, of course, a lot of the actors from the second Karate Kid movie have since passed away. Because, Pat Morita had passed away. And not only did he pass away, but also the one who played Yukie, who was played by Nobu McCarthy, passed away in 2002. And I looked this up on Wikipedia. She passed away in 2002. And the one who played Sato, who was Miyagi's old best friend, and now in the second movie his rival. And then by the end of the second movie, they became friends again. By the end of the movie, he also passed away. And the actor who played the part, he also passed away, unfortunately. So now the only ones who are really well alive, at least the main characters from the second movie, other than Ralph Macchio, of course, is Kumiko. I forgot the actress who played the actress' name, but also the actor who played Chozen, who's also still alive. In reality, reprised their roles, and they were in about 2 episodes in this series, which was a great moment for those who are fans of the show. And I like this, and I do like the second one, second film. So Ralph Macchio or Daniel reunited with Kumiko, and they caught up. And so Kumiko, her character never got married, never had any kids. Because she still had feelings for Daniel, because of course he fought for her honor, fought to the death to save her honor, and to save her life, because Chosen threatened to kill her. In the end of Karate Kid 2, and of course she still had feelings for him, even though he moved on with his life. She moved on a little bit, but not enough to marry somebody else and to have kids with someone else. And so while they were catching up, here comes Chozen, and Daniel's caught up with Chozen, and Chozen says, "Oh, I was very ashamed after our fight, even though we fought to the death, and you decided not to, kill me. I still feel a little ashamed about what happened, my actions, and yada yada yada." And Daniel says, "Well, I'm glad that." And decided, and Chosen decided he wanted to make amends with Daniel after what happened, and of course Daniel allowed him to make amends. And so what happened was that Chosen had all this stuff from his uncle who passed away, and his uncle had all this stuff from Miyagi's father, who taught him, as well as Miyagi, karate. Taught him all this stuff. And he has all these scrolls and stuff. And he also has some techniques that Miyagi never taught him. He never got around to teach him when he was alive. And they did some training. I said, I want to show you some techniques that Miyagi never bothered to show you. And he hit Daniel in some pressure points, and his whole arms and legs went numb, and he was able to, do. And it's a little homage to the end of Karate Kid 2, when Daniel went the whole live or die, man, and he goes die, and Chosen says die. He says wrong, and Daniel honks his nose, and that's it. It's like not to kill him, not to give him the final, karate chop. So Chozen did this pressure point thing on Daniel, and he did like a homage to him, and he went honked his nose, and he was busting out laughing, and it was a great moment, a great homage to the end of Karate Kid 2, and of course Daniel goes, "Oh great, laughing at all expense here," and it says, "Well," and Chozen says, "Well, at least I got even with you." For that, and I thought that was great because he got even. So like a little tit for tat thing there, because Daniel did it to him all those years ago, and Chosen got even with him, which I thought was great. It was funny, and of course, if you saw Karate Kid 2, of course you get the you enjoy that moment even a little bit more. And Daniel got some of his comeuppance because of what happened at the end of their fight to the death. And Daniel wanted to know what was that technique. He said, oh, it was to end the war. I said, if your opponent decides to wage war on you, it's time they use that technique to take the war away from him, and you can end it, end the war. And he says, "Can you show me how to do it?" And Daniel asks him, "Can you show me how to do that?" Said, and Chosen says, "Yes, I will. I'm willing to show you." And it gives Daniel all those scrolls and all the other material that Miyagi, or should we say Miyagi's father, had saved all those years and passed down to Sato, and then of course Chosen passed it on to Daniel. And then he comes home and he finds out that one of Samantha's friends has his arm broken by the Cobra Kai students. So the mother decides to confront Kreese, and she slaps the crap, and she really slaps him pretty good. And Kreese got a restraining order out on Daniel's wife, and she filed a complaint, and she didn't know it until when she went down to the police station and filed a complaint against Kreese. And then she found out they got a restraining order out on him. That Kreese filed a restraining order out on her, and all that type of thing. And then of course the big fight at the end, or the other big moment in this series. Not only did you see Chosen and Kumiko, you also saw the return of Elizabeth Shue as Allie with an I, right? Allie Mills, and they found out that she's now separated from her husband. She's a doctor now, and she was supposed to have been early in the season to help Miguel out, but I guess they didn't do that. But she came to town for Christmas, and you see her parents. And she's there with her kids. You never saw Allie's kids though, by the way. But she says, oh, she's separated from her husband now, and not divorced yet, but just separated. And they had a reunion with Johnny, had lunch with him, and so, oh, I can't believe that you and Daniel both have good dojos. You're both senseis and stuff like that. And they all caught up, and Allie met Daniel's wife, and said, "Oh, you're the one, huh? You're the one who broke Daniel's heart, right? In high school." And then they of course explained what happened and all that type of thing. And while all that was going on, while they having a good time in the country club, Kreese sent his Cobra Kai students to go after Samantha and everybody, and Samantha and the Miyagi-Do students. Of course, also at that point, Johnny, I should mention, Johnny decided to have a new, even though he doesn't have the money to open up a new dojo, but he's having training sessions in the local park for his students, or the students who want to follow him, called Eagle Fang Karate, get rid of the Cobra Kai stuff. And so those students, along with the Miyagi's those students and Samantha, were getting attacked by the Cobra Kai students. And so when that happened, both Johnny and Daniel both went to the Cobra Kai dojo to confront Kreese. And first Johnny had the big fight with Kreese, and then Johnny had a fight with his own son. Believe it or not, it was a very powerful moment to have the father and son fighting each other. And then when that happened, Kreese decided to go after Johnny again, and then here comes Daniel to save Johnny's ass, which what happens, and then Daniel actually uses that technique that Chosen taught him to temporarily paralyze his Kreese's power pressure points, so his arms won't work, his legs won't work, and he was about to deal the final blow, and he decides to stop, and says, the crease is it worth it type thing. And so what happened is that they decided, hey, let's fight it out at what we did before. Have your students fight my students at the tournament, the karate tournament. And both of them agreed to it, and now Johnny and Daniel are now together as to fight against Kreese in the tournament, and that's how season 10 ended. I know it's a little bit long from the usual reviews of late, it's over 20 minutes already. But I felt this season, of the 3 seasons of Cobra Kai, I thought this was the best season out of the 3. True, because he had some of the returning actors, and also he did have a little bit of a backstory to Kreese's character and how he became friends with Terry Silver. And it's also implied that Terry Silver is going to come back for season 4, which I believe I have heard that season 4 might be the last season for the Cobra Kai series. But who the heck knows? But anything can happen. In the entertainment business, anything can happen. And it'll be interesting to see Terry Silver back, and Mike Barnes, and possibly Mike Barnes might be back for season 4. But there's only rumors right now. You don't know if Robin Lively, who was the girl or the potential love interest in Karate Kid 3, you don't know if she'll be back, but it's a pretty good possibility that Mike Barnes and Terry Silver might be back for season 3. For season 4 of Cobra Kai. And I think that, like I said earlier, the only other character from the Karate Kid universe that came back for season 3 was the one who played Bobby. The one who was tired of beating up Daniel, or who didn't want to injure him at the original tournament of the first Karate Kid movie, but he did anyway under Kreese's orders to hurt Daniel in the semifinals. And he became a preacher, and when Robbie, or Johnny's son, was in prison, he was there because since he was a minister, he could go into the prison and talk and try to ease the tension between Robbie and his father, Johnny. Even though that didn't work out, but at least Bobby made the attempt, and he did appear a couple of times, at least 2 episodes in this series. There's only one for the Cobra Kais who came back in the 3rd season. Even though they did have a reunion of all the Cobra Kai students in season 2, except for Dutch. Because apparently Dutch, in terms of the storyline of the show, Dutch was supposed to be in jail. So you haven't seen Dutch yet in the Cobra Kai series. But it would have been cool it wouldn't have been cool if Robbie met Dutch. But Dutch will be in a different prison than Robbie, because Robbie's in for minors, a juvenile detention center, not for adult jail, which Dutch is supposed to be in. But for season 3, like I said earlier, season 3 is definitely the best season of the 3 seasons so far. So that's my review of Cobra Kai season 3. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video on your Facebook pages, and check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, that's over WDY, and c.com, that's the homepage of Rally Reviewer. Please see more, and please check out all of his videos on this website. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.